Hey everyone, Luke here. Hope you're doing well. And today I'm just going to talk about the path, okay? So the path is just sort of a concept that helps people understand development, what it is, what the journey is like, and it also really helps people, and myself included, really understand like what is enlightenment, right? And like what is the process that one has to go through to get to enlightenment, and is enlightenment even a destination, okay? So the path is just a way to describe development, okay? So at its core, nutritional balancing science, the science that I teach on this channel, is a path towards development, okay? And development basically just means like enlightenment, right? So it's a path to enlightenment. Although, as I'm going to talk about later, enlightenment isn't really a destination. Really, the path is just the path, if that makes sense, okay? So what is the path? The path that I am talking about is what's called the golden path, as they would say in Tibetan science, or more of a life of service, okay? And the path as relates to this channel is nutritional balancing science. So nutritional balancing science is just a path, okay? And it's a path towards greater health, a better working body and mind, and all these sorts of things, okay? And this really helps people understand that enlightenment isn't really an end post. There's no sort of there's no sort of place where all of a sudden I'm quote unquote enlightened. You're just farther along the path, and then you can keep going on the path, or you can hop off of it at any time you choose, okay? So that's the first thing to understand, is that nutritional balancing is a path. Okay. And it's a path that's designed to basically just heal the mind, body, and spirit at a deep enough level to move people forward in their development, okay? So we can ask, what is development? Okay, so what it is the slow process, basically, of retracing, okay? So you're going to retrace old infections, you're going to retrace old traumas, you're going to detox, okay? You're going to detox all your heavy metals, replenish them with the correct minerals in your body. So the path in this instance is basically a set of lifestyle changes that you have to discipline yourself to do in order to walk the path, okay? So as I've talked about on this channel, the path is basically a very clean diet, it's doing certain detox procedures, and maybe most importantly, it's pushing energy down every day, okay? Doing the pushing down exercise, the meditation that we like, okay? And all of the doing all these things in conjunction, okay, healing yourself at this level is going to move you forward on the path, okay? So let's just draw a little bit of a path here. So we can imagine, the path, right? Here's the path. We'll make, I don't know, little bricks or something here, right? So here's the path, right? So as we can see, I basically just draw like a brick road, right? Okay. As you can see, artistry is not my strong suit, okay? So here's the path, and you're walking along the path in this direction, right? Now there are moments on the path where you'll have to overcome some sort of obstacle, right? So let's say you start on the path here, which is where most people start, right? They start on the path, and then they're moving forward on the path, right? Little person right here. Okay, they're moving forward on the path. In the beginning of the path itself is the challenge in learning how to navigate the path. What they're learning, what's required to go along the path. So this is learning about the diet. This is learning how to do coffee enemas, how to use a sauna, how to sleep enough every day, get enough rest, how to meditate, how to push energy downwards. And then slowly but surely, this gets them moving along the path as they start to eliminate their toxic metals and things like that. And then 1 to 2 years down the road, they might be on the path, right? And they get to right here, right? They get to a marker on the path. And this is forgiving their parents, okay? Forgiving parents. Now some people have already, if you're watching this, you might have already forgiven your parents. Or maybe you didn't have to, there was really nothing for you to forgive your parents. But we're just going to say in this instance, this is something that they had to overcome, and they had to forgive parents right here. So let's just say 1 to 2 years into the program, they have to forgive their parents, okay? So they get to this point, you know, and then they have to forgive their parents. And they can choose to stop here, or they can keep going, right? And they keep pushing, right? So they learn through meditation and healing their body and clearing their mind that, you know, they haven't forgiven their parents, and it's holding them back in their life because their mind is more clouded because they're holding on to anger. Their body is not as clean as it should be because they're holding on to anger. And in order for them to progress to the next step on the path, they need to forgive their parents, okay? So that's another milestone. And then they keep going another year, right? So another year, and we'll say right here. And maybe this is like 3 years down the road, okay? And this is retrace, let's just say ear infection. Okay? And then they're going to heal the body enough over the course of 3 years where all of a sudden the body has to go back and heal an ear infection right here in the ear. And then they're kind of like sick for a week or two. And then once they've overcome that, they keep going on the path. Okay? And this is all the path is, okay? And then there are markers on the path towards greater enlightenment, but there's no set place where you're quote unquote enlightened, okay? If you understand that. There's not all of a sudden, oh, you got here, you know, here's the end post, you know, draw a little flag. I don't know. I can't draw anything. You know, here's the end post. Oh, we reached our destination. We're enlightened. That's not really how it works. You're more enlightened here than you were at the start of your journey, but you can keep going. Okay? There's no place where you have to get off. And the path is open to anyone, and you can get off and on the path as you wish, and you can speed it up and slow it down as you wish. So if you follow the diet correctly, and you're meditating every day, and you're going to bed early, and you're taking all your supplements, and you're super dedicated to your program, this process accelerates. But sometimes you need to slow down your program. Sometimes, you start detoxing right around here. Maybe you start detoxing too much copper, and so you slow down the path. You hop off a little bit, okay? Because you're just eliminating too much copper, and it's affecting your life too much, and you realize you have to slow down the program. But then you hop back on slowly, and then you get to where you want to go, okay? And so this is really the essence of nutritional balancing and the essence of life and going towards greater enlightenment. And like I talked about earlier, what's nice is that nutritional balancing serves as a path that anyone can hop onto at any time to achieve greater enlightenment, okay? And sometimes the things that you have to go through aren't what you're going to, what you don't expect, right? Some people, you don't always expect that you have to forgive your parents, right? You don't expect that you're going to have to retrace an ear infection. Maybe somewhere 5 years down the road, all of a sudden, oh, I got to let go of arrogance, okay? I've been on the program 5 years. I've realized how arrogant I've been for my whole life. Okay, I need to let go of my arrogance. And then you go on, and then you realize you're not in the correct job anymore. So there's a job change right here. And then this marker right here is that you have to change jobs, even though maybe it's scary to you. But you realize that you're not living your fullest potential, especially now that you've healed yourself to a certain extent. You feel like you can handle a new job. Okay, and then it goes on, and it keeps going, until at some point you become more and more intuitive. You start being able to tune to your surroundings more, and then you can you have the stronger mental abilities, things like very strong intuition, maybe even be able to tune to guidance from higher sources, being able to heal others energetically, even telepathy and things like that. Okay, but then let's say 20 years down the road, you get to the point where you're somewhat telepathic, okay? But then you can keep going. You can keep going past that. Enhancing your telepathic powers, and healing the mind, body, and spirit even more and more, okay? But it's just the path, okay? And there's no set point where you have to get off and on, and there's no point where all of a sudden you're quote-unquote enlightened, okay? If that makes sense. And for the most part, experiences that we go after to quote-unquote enlighten ourselves don't really enlighten ourselves. So I've talked about other times on the channel where people want to go do ayahuasca in the jungle and stuff like that. And maybe that can help you in some circumstances. I myself have done, and I've taken mushrooms a couple times, right? So I've gone through psychedelic experiences. And I don't, I don't necessarily think they're quote unquote bad for every person in every situation. But for the most part, these things aren't going to get you to the all of a sudden where you're enlightened, right? If anything, they should be used as to help you along the path, maybe. Maybe if you did a little bit of like ayahuasca to help you forgive your parents or something, but it was only like a one-time thing or something like that. But nothing else, except in my experience, except for a full complete nutritional balancing program, will help you move along the path in a safe sort of fashion. Okay, and what I mean by that is that a lot of the things that we do, like the drugs that we do, although you might have a certain experience and it may help you on your path somewhat, or realize some certain things about yourself as you go deep into yourself, they are usually toxic. And the path that we're just ascribing to generally means a cleansing of the mind and body. And sometimes those things can even get in the way. Okay, but that's all it is. Okay, and so there's no need to complicate it, and there's no need to pressure yourself, or I wish I was enlightened or things like that. It's instead of wishing you're enlightened, just hop on the path. And then don't worry so much about where things are going to go. Just trust in the path. And once you're safe and secure in the path, life becomes easier to a certain extent because you're used to the path and you're on the path. And it makes life easier because everything is more set in stone and everything feels like it's more part of the path, okay? And I talked about, things like your NAK ratio and things like that. And balancing these, move you along on your path. And moving, the path is a forward moving concept. I talked about forward movement in previous videos. Here, I'll put a link to the forward movement concept right here. And so, when you're moving forward, you're moving forward on the path. And then from the hair test, you can see how to move forward faster along the path and where you're stuck. Okay? And it's important to realize, this is a very, very, very important concept that I'm going to end with for you guys, okay? And that is, nutritional balancing, yes, it's a way to eat, to feel better and all this stuff, but at its core, even what a hair mineral analysis is, it's not even, when you look at your hair mineral analysis, yes, it shows you what you're deficient in and things like that, but at its deepest level, it's much more esoteric. And at its deepest level, what a hair test is a test to basically show you where you're at on the path, and then what you can do to get you unstuck and moving forward on the path. That's at its core level. That's all it is nutritional balancing is using a hair test to see where you're at on your life path, okay, and to get you unstuck and moving forward faster towards greater health, greater spirituality, and all these sorts of good stuff, okay? And then you're using the hair test as a way to guide the kind of program you should be following to move you forward on your path. And that's all it is at its deepest level, okay? Don't forget to comment below, ask any questions, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and I will talk to you guys later.